Hello, welcome to Last Bell Boxing. This is the latest recording. Today we're going to talk about Canelo. Does the Bivol fight happen? And if not, who does he jump in with? So I'll set a bit of context, Andy, and just give my views and I'll come over to you. So obviously, for one, I think the fight will take place. And the reason why I think it will take place is because Bivol actually resides in California. There's no suggested links to Putin. So I can't see the fight not taking place. There's a lot of money involved as well, which we know in the real world that makes fights go ahead.
Yeah.
So just jumping. So let's play the game where, okay, the fight might be under doubt. Not that anyone said it's under doubt either at the minute, have they really? There's only one voice that had come out asking the question, should it go ahead? And I believe that was the Klitschko brothers, wasn't it, who asked the question. So if you look at Golovkin, obviously he's got a fight coming up in April in Japan, which is quite a big fight. So I'd suggest it wouldn't be it doesn't fit with Golovkin. Batayev, obviously we're going to come on to that fight, but it looks like he's having a unification fight. The one for me, if I had to put my money on it, should this scenario become a reality, I would go for Benavidez. Because he's due to fight David Lemieux on the 21st of May. Well, that's not, with all due respect to David Lemieux, if you're getting offered the carrot of fighting Canelo, he would drop that quicker than you drop your drawers when you're in the toilets in the pub. So that's the one for me. And there's a little, whether it's genuine beef there, but there's some beef there between them two. Benavidez has been calling him out for a long, long time. I like that fight. I think that's a toe-to-toe war. So that's my view on it. So I'll pass it over to you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that I think the fight happens because of the money more than anything else. I've said numerous times on our show, mate, and I don't want to turn this into politics, but I've said numerous times on our show, you can't single out somebody, a sports personality, whether it be boxing or anything else, just because they're Russian. It's not fair to stop them earning money for their family to put bread on the table or whatever, just because they're Russian. Unless it's proven they've got connections with Putin's regime and they're in some way funding what's going on. There's no noise coming out saying that Bivol's doing any of that. So it's a non-starter. This fact that this can't happen. Can you understand where the Klitschko's are coming from with the comment? Yeah, in a way. The thing is, people need to understand where they're at the minute. They're fighting for the country. They're fighting for their lives, and they may come out and regret making that comment in the future because, like I've just said, it's not really the fault of the individual. But anyway, back to the point in hand. If the fight doesn't happen, again, let's just play along with this. If the fight doesn't happen, there's a number of possibilities. But first and foremost is he carrying too much weight to get back down to super middleweight at the minute?
Mine says that would be yes.
Yeah, because obviously he knows he's fighting Bivol at light heavy, which means he's got to bulk his muscle up to get to light heavy, in my opinion. It's the only way he can do it. He's not going to come in fat. That just doesn't work for Canelo. So he's going to bulk up. If he's bulking muscle up, he ain't going to lose that rapidly to get back down to super middle.
Not safely, anyway.
No, and he won't be at his best. So the likelihood is he's going to fight somebody at light heavy if he has an interim fight.
Plenty of British people.
Say again?
There's plenty of British candidates at that weight, isn't there?
Right. So here's my opinion. And you've got to look at, in my opinion, Canelo's not going to fight anybody for the sake of fighting anybody. At this point in his career, it has to either make money sense or legacy sense. The only people, in my opinion, that from the UK that fit that remit, Callum Smith, who's number one in a couple of the rankings, WBC, I think. Anthony Yard, who's number one with the WBO. And Callum Johnson, who's just dangerous. But the one that I think, and this might come a bit out of left field, is Gilberto Ramirez, who's Mexican, which makes sense. He's 43-0. That in its own makes a massive fight just because of the context of the fact that he's Mexican. That obviously builds the gate following from the Mexican community. And
well, they don't need it building, do they? Let's have it right.
No, but it makes more sense if he's going to fight somebody that isn't a champion. It makes more sense to him fighting an unbeaten Mexican in the context of the fight than it does fighting an Englishman without a belt. It makes more sense for Canelo, for his backers. If he does go back down and he's kind of forced to defend his super middleweight belts, Benavidez, I agree with you. The other one, who's just won a mandatory slot, would be an easier fight in my opinion, which is John Ryder.
Well, there's talk for that, isn't there? There's flirted with that before.
That's more of a tick over for me.
And Uncle Eddie could sort that one out, couldn't he?
Yeah, and that's an easy fight to make, which makes me think that could probably happen if it's forced late on. That will be a late on replacement, in my opinion. John Ryder. Obviously,
I think he's got John Ryder earmarked for a UK fight with Canelo.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Obviously, the second fight of these two fights, because he's signed to DAZN for two fights, Bivol and Triple G. Now, I know you've just touched on the fact Triple G's got a fight, but there's 2 months still till this date for Canelo, 7th of May, isn't it?
Yeah, he won't jump in that quick. No way.
You don't think?
No.
Don't forget he's already in camp for the fight he's training for.
What are you talking about? In dropping the Murata fight and jumping straight in with Canelo then 2 months later?
Well, why not? He's coming out making noises.
It's a big fight that is in Japan, though.
Well, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Well, it depends, doesn't it? Money talks, don't it?
I know, but Triple G's got that beef in his bonnet. I don't think he'll give Canelo I think he'll go, no, I've got you lined up later on in the year. I ain't changing my plans for you. That's the way I think it would play out.
Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, you might be right. I mean, we've said all along he's not big enough for the light heavyweight division. But the way it's panning out, we're going to talk about Beterbiev and Joe Smith Jr. shortly. But the way it's panning out, we could see an undisputed champion at that weight before the end of the year. I don't think Canelo's going to change his plans. I think he'll force the Bivol fight to stay ahead.
Well, I don't think he'll need to force it, will he? I mean, he wasn't even born in Russia. So he was born just east of Kazakhstan, in a country that I'm not even going to try and pronounce. So this he might fight under the Russian flag, but that's about the only affiliation he has with them. So he'll go ahead, but if he was to transpire that, Bivol's got to pull out, which I don't agree with personally.
No.
There is some candidates there, and you might be right with your suggestion that light heavy, it's not a bad shout. Mendoza. So Ramirez. Mendoza, let's try again. That's because I've been reading about governing bodies. So Ramirez, yes, that's not a bad shot. But Benavidez would be a great fight as well, because I think them two will meet at some stage. I just think Benavidez has got to up his game a little bit and get a bit more active.
Yeah.
So that brings this video to an end. Post your comments below if you agree or disagree. More than welcome. We go live at 7 p.m. on a weekly basis if you want to join us to debate all things boxing. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video.